This week for Readers Theater, we're going to be working on one last play together. And our last fairy tale that we're going to be working on is The Three Little Pigs. This fairy tale is very fun because there's lots of different characters in it. And so we're going to be practicing our voices for the three pigs and the big bad wolf. There's also some narrator lines in this play to help you practice your teacher voice. Today we're going to be looking at the lines on the first page for the first pig. All of your pig voices can be different. You can decide how you want to do them. The lines for the first pig are a little bit easier. So another thing we're going to be doing today is talking about a little bit of voice acting and seeing if we can use our voice to show the way that the pig is feeling in this story. So first, let's take a look at the lines together. We'll learn how to read them. We'll practice that voice acting, and then we'll put the whole first page together and read for all of the characters. The first pig on the first page has 3 lines, and the lines are a little bit short. So we'll go through one at a time. We'll practice reading what they're going to say, and then we'll practice that voice acting, using some expression in our voice to make it sound like the pig is feeling in the story. Let's look at the first line together. When we look at this line, we see this contraction. If you did this activity for 3 Billy Goats Gruff, you saw this quite a bit. When we read this contraction, we want to read this popcorn word first, and then add this letter sound like this. I'm. Let's look at the next word together. This word has a chunk ending. It has an ing ending at the end, and it has a popcorn word at the front. So you want to chunk it with the popcorn word and the ending. Then we have another popcorn word here. This word is a magic E word. E will send its powers to make you say its name, and E is going to stay quiet in that word. And then when we stretch this last word, when we get to the AW, we want to make this sound, ah. So you can stretch that with 4 sounds if you use that ah sound at the end. So go ahead and try reading this line on your own. And let's try reading it together. I'm going to use straw. Now let's change our voice a little bit. We want to make the voice sound like a pig, but we also want to show how the pig is feeling. And on this page, he's telling his friends what he's going to use to build his house. So I'm thinking that he's going to want to use a very strong voice because he's proud of what he's using to tell his friends what he's going to do. So let's practice that together. I'm going to use straw. Excellent. Let's look at the next line together. The next line is very short. It only has 3 words. And it's all popcorn words. How cool is that? All right, go ahead and try reading this line on your own. And let's try reading it together. Who is it? In this story, when the first pig says this line, he's answering the door. The big bad wolf is knocking on his door, and he's going to say this question to answer the big bad wolf. So I want you to think about what might your voice sound like if someone's knocking on your door and you want to ask who it is. Let's practice that voice now. Who is it? You kind of do, I do a little bit of a sing-song voice when I think about that. But I like the way that you used your question voice here. All right, let's look at the last line together. It's a little bit longer, and I think this is a line that you might recognize if you already know this story. So we're starting with popcorn word, popcorn word, popcorn word, popcorn word. Awesome. When we get to this word, this one is a little bit tricky because when you stretch it, it's not exactly going to sound right. I'll show you a chunk on this word. This chunk here says air. So we want to add that h sound to the beginning of the word air, like this. H, air, hair. Very good. And we have another popcorn word. Popcorn word. Now this, we kind of want to chunk and figure out the beginning part too, because this beginning part of the word is going to repeat 3 times. In the beginning, we have a digraph here, and then a popcorn word. So add that digraph sound onto the beginning of that popcorn word and see if you can put it together. Let's try that together. Ch-in, chin. So this chunk is going to say chin 3 times. Now when we add this ending, we have a tricky Y, and Y is going to make the E sound here. So it's going to say n-e, ni. Chinny, chin, chin. Excellent. Go ahead and try reading that whole line on your own. And let's read it together. No, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Now let's practice our voice acting here. The first pig is going to say this after he finds out that the big bad wolf is at his door. So I'm guessing he's feeling a little bit scared and worried. So let's try to see if we can make our voices sound a little scared while we're reading this line. Let's try it together. No, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Excellent job with that feeling voice there. That was awesome. Okay, now we're ready to put the whole page together. Remember what we said about the voice acting on this page and see if you can make your voice sound like the first pig is feeling. Let's try it together. When you'll know it's your time to read when you see that star above my head. This play is called The 3 Little Pigs. It's time for us to build houses. I'm going to use straw. I'm going to use sticks. I'm going to use bricks. The 3 little pigs each built a house and went inside. Along came the big bad wolf. He knocked on the door of the straw house. Who is it? Little pig, let me in. Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. Excellent job reading for the first little pig today. If you want to send any of your reading for the characters to the teachers, we would love to include you in our very last Friday fun video. Tomorrow we're going to be practicing the second little pig voice with Miss Brandy.